Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pedro Vasquez, and this is my third episode. And I'm going to be coming to you talking about my formative years in the military. Um, I did a take earlier, but it didn't really sound too well because I had a barking, uh, or not a barking, but a howling um, husky out there, just going to town on it. I don't know why. He just kind of was in the mood to just howl. But anyway, um, as I'm sitting here, I'm having some barbecue that I made. I made some lamb. I made some chicken, some jalapeno poppers with some chorizo in it. It's amazing. Um, I also have some beans from HEB. If nobody knows what HEB is, or if you know what HEB is, you understand that their borracho beans are amazing and they're great. And then I also have some veggies that are just delicious. Here, let me give you a little quick sneak peek of what's going on here. Yeah, it's all good. Uh, I also have an audience that I get a little smiles or some other little things going on over here. I don't even know. Oh, I'm gonna try to ignore, but it's probably not gonna happen. So don't judge me on this one. And as I've discussed before, I wanted to let you know that through these next couple of episodes, I want to make sure that you know that this is all about me. I'm letting you know how my career has adapted, how I've come to actually wanted to do this, and then we'll get into the bringing guests over and talking to people, individuals, asking them the whys, asking them what made them just want to stay in, or you know what were their most memorable times in the military. But right now, that's not the case. This is all just me. So don't judge me. I have stories. I'm gonna probably tell you some PG-13 stuff because the other stuff you don't even want to know or worry about. And my audience is laughing at me. uh, and also, I have some beers, have some brews that I'm kind of partaking in. I've had a few already because I kind of had a shit day in terms of cleaning. Everything was going wrong, but it's cool because I got some uh, Surly IPA, Surly Brewery. It's pretty good. Don't judge me because I'm triple fisting right now. I have some Yingling because you can't go wrong with Yingling, and I have some brew from Independence Brewery, which is a pilsner. Cheers. So now let's get down to business. Um, as you saw on the first and second episode, I kind of talked about my why and where I was going and why I decided to join the military. Um, I always joke about the Marines and eating crayons and stuff, and I just couldn't handle the crayons. Like there's something about that just does not jive with me. I think the green flavor would probably be pretty gross, but anyway, I decided that I was going to join the Air Force because of some family influences and the opportunities that I had there, and being from San Antonio, it was just a prominent service to go through. Well, as I joined my tech school, or for those of you guys who aren't in the Air Force, my AIT was in Pensacola, Florida. Had a phenomenal time. It was great. There was a lot of trouble that I got into, a lot of stupid things, small little instances, but it was well worth it because I learned, I adapted, and we're just kids at that point in time. I mean, I was 19, um, and you just kind of go through those little growing pains. But my first duty station was Travis Air Force Base, so I went from Pensacola, Florida, to Travis. And by the way, leaving San Antonio to go to Pensacola, I had never been on a plane. So it was kind of scary. It was just one of those experiences that I was like, what the fuck am I even getting into? And I get it, it's the Air Force, but I didn't ever think that I was going to be on a plane doing, just traveling from one place to the other. So I get to Travis Air Force Base, learning my job, aircraft mechanic, and there was a lot of great experiences. I got to go TDY and I got to deploy quite a bit there. Uh, I saw, I went to LA, I went um, to Hawaii, to Korea. Then I also deployed to Kuwait, and in Kuwait, I was there during September 11th. So if you're watching this, the majority of you guys understand what September 11th was all about, and it was kind of a major thing because as you're there or as you're watching on TV, whether you're 6 years old or whether you're you know in your 60s, you understand that this is pretty big in magnitude. It's another Pearl Harbor attack, and you're seeing it live. You don't even understand what's going on. And I was actually in Kuwait in Ali Al Salim. So if anybody knows where Ali Al Salim is at, it's south of Iraq, and we're pretty close to the border. So it's kind of a scary time. I got home from, or not got home, but got to my tent from work, and I'm watching, and I'm wondering what the hell's going on. And as I sit down, I distinctively remember having curly fries, probably a burger. Oh no, I remember what it was. It was curly fries and chili mac. Chili mac was it. And I was sitting down eating my curly fries, having a little bit of chili mac, and I asked one of my tent mates, piss mates, whatever you want to consider them, like, "Oh shit, what fucking movie is this? This is fucking crazy." And a little background, I definitely was not geographically sound. I didn't know, what was going on in New York. I didn't know it was the financial capital of the world. I was just like, whatever. I'm in the military. I don't really give a fuck about anything. I'm gonna learn. And I realized that they had these two iconic towers. Well, one of the guys that was in my tent, his family was from New York, and he kind of panicked a little. And as we're sitting there watching this, I asked the question, "Hey, the fuck, what movie are we watching?" And they're like, we're not watching a movie. We're actually watching this live, and it's the news, and there was a wreck, or a crash. An aircraft crashed into the tower. So I'm eating right as I'm putting the curly fry in my mouth, and I distinctly remember this. The second tower got hit, and then the commentator, the news anchor, was like, I don't know what's going on. How do two aircraft crash into these towers? And then fast forward about 30 minutes, Pentagon, and then a little after that, it was out in Pennsylvania, and it literally jarred everybody. I was, we were sitting in our tent, and right before the Pentagon one got hit, we were told to report to our duty stations immediately. And like I said, we were near Iraq, so it was a little tense. It was actually not a little tense. It was pretty fucking tense. We got to our duty stations, and they were like, "Hey, we don't know what's going on. We don't know who did this, but there's obviously signs of a terrorist attack." And then we just went from there. We pulled guard mount. We did, we were watching the towers. We were in the towers, and it just for the next couple of weeks, if not month, it was kind of chaotic. Um, I wasn't able to talk to my family. We got stuck being overseas, and they shut down the phones. So it was a little eerie. I was literally talking to my ex, and they were like, "We're shutting down the phones," and they literally shut them down for 2 weeks. So I didn't get a chance to talk to my ex or my kid, and that was a big deal. And I heard stories after I got back of how everything was, here in the States. But for me, it was a whole different feeling because I just felt like I was in the thick of things. Who knows what could have happened? Who knows if, at that time, who knows if it was Iraq, if it was Iran. But later on, you know, a week later, we ended up finding out that it was the Taliban. What a horrible time. Uh, so that was one of the key moments of the beginning. And then as I go through my formative years, I get back from Kuwait, and about 7 months later, I'm in Okinawa. I get stationed in Okinawa, and as I get stationed in Okinawa, it's the beginning of 2002, and I immediately volunteered for another deployment, and I deployed to Saudi Arabia in the end of 2002. And it was crazy because if any of you guys remember, hold on, cheers. If any of you guys remember, or if any of you military members remember, 2000, beginning of 2003, March 2003, we invaded, or we went into Iraq. And I was in Saudi Arabia right as the speech from President Bush came out, where he was talking about, if you don't turn over your weapons of mass destruction, we'll, come in by force. So it was pretty crazy. Two major events that happened you know, within a year of each other that I was a part of, and we were constantly flying. I was with an F-15 unit out of Kadena, and it was pretty scary because they would go up there loaded, and they would come back loaded or semi-loaded, and you didn't know what was going on. I mean, come on, I'm just poor little airman just trying, go through life, seeing what the hell's going on, and there was a lot of stuff around us that was just happening. So Okinawa was amazing. I was there for 3 years, and I wish I would have stayed longer. But everything happens for a reason. And as I'm there, it was immediately I had deployed to Saudi Arabia, got back, and then then the TDYs began. I went TDY so many times, it was amazing. I went there to, when I got back, it was because I had volunteered for that. I went to Florida, then to Vegas. So combat archer, red flag. Uh, red flag's equivalent to the Navy's Top Gun. So it's fun. It's an amazing time, and you're busy, and you're in Vegas, so you're fucking partying all the time. You're having fun. You're just doing your own thing, and you're an adult, so nobody gives a fuck to an extent because you're still military, so they got to track you, make sure you're fucking not being an asshole and not doing stupid shit. So get back from Nellis, and then immediately the other TDY started coming along. Go to Hawaii, go to Thailand. Just saying, if you've never been, go and experience it. Thailand's a great time. You're gonna have an amazing. There's just so much to do there. Um, and I also was able to go to. I also deployed to Sri Lanka, and many people don't understand what was going on then, but at the end of 2004, beginning of 2005. Actually, I think it was the day after Christmas that earthquake hit and a huge tsunami wiped out. Oh God, I think it was 1 million people, 1 million+ people passed away. And we deployed to Sri Lanka, and we had an amazing time. It wasn't an amazing time because we got to hang out and party and do all kinds of stuff. It was an amazing time because we were there to help out, to do things, and to make sure that everybody was, what we can do to make everybody safe. So, and I'm just kind of giving you cliff notes of my career of the beginning because there's so much more that I can get into depth with. But as I start having guests, it's going to be one of those where we deep dive into it and talk about the stories of everything that happened there. Or if I was with them in that location, I would be talking about it. So Sri Lanka was one of those where it was phenomenal. Had a lot of fun. Um, but it was crazy because we were there because of a tsunami that wiped out so many people. And um, oh, that's dying off. Sorry, it's a different camera, different view. um, and then we went to or not Anchorage, but Fairbanks. So we were in Sri Lanka, and it was like 100 degrees, 100 plus degrees, 100% humidity. Then we get back to Okinawa, and it's like, oh, 60, 65 degrees, 100% humidity. And then I ended up in Fairbanks, Alaska, at the end of February, where it was -10, and who fucking knows what the the humidity was, because it was cold as fuck. And what a hell of a swing. It was a 110-degree swing within 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Not fun. But we got used to it because by the end of the month that we were there, I was in shorts and it was like 38 degrees. And who fucking knows? Like, I don't even understand how the hell that works. But I was comfortable in shorts in 38-degree weather. I don't fucking know. Snow everywhere, tons of it. Everything was melting. Everything, we just had a blast. Um, and then as I get back to Okinawa, there was a couple other places that I ended up going to. But it was just a hell of a time. It was, I was one of those individuals, and if you're just thinking about joining the military, enjoy it. Like, volunteer for everything, because with every shitty assignment that you get, or every shitty location that you go to, there's gonna be four, five, six other locations where you're just gonna have a blast. From going to Hawaii and Alaska to dealing with shit in Saudi Arabia and all the rest of the nasty stuff. Just enjoy it, embrace it, take ownership of it, and say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go there." And then, as I'm nearing the end of my tour in Okinawa, I really wanted to stay there, but part of me wanted to come back to the States to be with my family. And I mean, I made the decision. I came to DM Davis Monthan, uh, and had a great time. I mean, not gonna even. I was deployed to Iraq. I was deployed to Afghanistan. I went on many TDYs, and I had a blast. But that's what we do. And I'm not gonna go past DM, but I'm gonna let you know that there was all kinds of stuff that you were able to do with just in a 10-year time frame. I was able to go to 4 combat locations. I was able to experience so much, and it was rough. It was hard. You're away from family. You adjust, but I mean, you deal with a lot of stuff. I mean, getting here at Davis Monthan in Arizona, you're constantly, there's like 5 different missions here, where you have the A-10s, the HA-60s, the 130s, 2 units of 130s, 2 different units of 130s, and you're gone all the time. And being an aircraft structural maintenance mechanic, you can get tasked with any of those, and then you're gone. But I loved it though, because it made me want to be out more. And part of that was, whenever I was in Iraq, whenever I got back from Iraq, and one of my old supervisors kind of denied me from doing some stuff, which probably saved my ass in certain ways. But she told me that I wasn't able to be a convoy driver because I had volunteered for it, because they were asking for volunteers at the time. And convoy drivers didn't really have a great, I don't want to say life expectancy, but they didn't have a great um, survival rate there, because you were constantly gone and you were the first ones that they were going to fuck up. And so I volunteered, and she told me no. She was like, "Nope, fuck you. You got kids. You can't go." Which probably saved my ass, which is a good thing. But um, that doesn't that doesn't mean to say that I didn't want to do it and I didn't want to be out there, because I felt like I wasn't doing enough with what I was given. Um, I tried multiple times to volunteer and I was shut down all the time. I probably should have cross trained. I probably should have done something different, but I didn't. I had my kids, and I guess I kind of thought about my kids more than I thought about myself, which is a great thing. But there are times, and there were times where I was like, fuck this. Like, I just want to be out. I just want to be doing things. I just don't even care about what the fuck goes on. And it was a hell of a time. I went from Afghanistan. I got back, and 4 months later, I was in, or no, I'm sorry, I was in Iraq, and 4 months later, I was in Afghanistan. And dealing with the Afghanistan thing, it was like kind of the same thing, where I just felt like, there's a little bit of inadequacy there, where I wanted to be doing more things. I wanted to be out. I wanted to ensure that I was, supporting the warfighter even more so. But like I said in one of the other videos, you have that sense of accomplishment when somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, are you a fucking mechanic for the A10s?" And you're like, "Yeah," as you see me all dirty and stuff, and they're praising you because these motherfuckers helped you out in every which way, or helped them out in every which way, to save their asses. So it was a good and a bad thing, because I wanted to do more. You're there and you see, you get the fallen comrade ceremonies, and you see, flag draped coffins going through, and you're like, fuck, man, why the fuck am I not out there? Why the hell am I not, you know, you know, why am I not, there's times where us military members are, we kind of worry about it, and we're just like, holy fuck, why do we even come back? Because there's a lot of times where we think about that shit, and it's horrible, and it's not right, but that's what we deal with. That's our reality. Um, for those that have never served, don't quite understand. If you've never, I mean, if you served and you didn't deploy, you don't understand. But, or I mean, you might, but it's a whole different thing when you're out there and you see these things, and you hear the explosions, and you see, everything that goes on. And I wasn't absolutely outside the wire, and I can only imagine what everybody else thinks. But for my personal experience and what I dealt with, like, it's a shitty fucking feeling knowing that, you're, even though you're doing your best that you can, even though you're doing your job, people are still fucking out there dying, and it's horrible. So when you see that type of stuff, you're just like, fucking a, like, I want to do more, and I was never able to. I probably could have, but I also thought about my kids, and maybe I was being a little selfish, but I mean, I'm still here. So as Davis Monthan, rolls around, I ended up going to Korea after that. And I'm not going to get into the whole Korea thing, but the first 10 years were were pretty good. It was a lot of learning, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of going from, being a scrawny little kid to being nowhere near what I am now, because I'm kind of chubby right now, but it's beside the point. But um, I grew. The first 10 years were just a learning experience. It was me trying to figure out who the fuck I was. And I think everybody who has done a career in the military can attest to it. It's hard, it's tough, and you're just, what the fuck is going on? Like, it goes by so fast. The first 10 years are just absolutely, you're like, holy shit. One day you're here, the next day you're like fucking, 365 days later in the deployment, and you're just like, damn, what the fuck is going on? Um, my audience is kind of looking at me like, what the fuck? They don't understand. Yeah, it's whatever. But it's one of those things where you realize that you're doing this for a particular reason. You're doing it for your family, your friends. And at the time, after September 11th, everybody was patriotic. Everybody wanted to fucking serve in some capacity. Everybody who was in the military was serving for some capacity. And I did it for my family. I did it for my friends. I did it for everything, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I served 20 years, 4 years for me and 4 years for each of my kids. Because I have 4 kids, 4 little brats or assholes or whatever you consider them. But cheers to those little assholes. Audience is looking at me laughing too. But those little girls and guys, I did it for them. And as I stated before, everybody's got a why. And my why was those little guys. And I wanted to get out. I wanted to be done in 2007. I wanted to say, fuck it, be done. And then go work in Afghanistan as a contractor, or Iraq as a contractor, and grow my beard out like this pretty little thing going on right now. And I decided not to. I decided to stay in and do my full 20. But a lot weighed on me because it was my family, my friends, and what I wanted to do for my kids. And those of you guys who want to join because it feels right. Join because you want to make a difference. Join because you want to do something that's going to make you just stand out or make you have fun. Don't join because you want to try to be a legend. Don't join because you want to try to do something that's going to be just phenomenal. But have fun. See the world. See the things that are out there. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the smells. Enjoy the taste. I mean, shit. If you're a single kid, enjoy the single life out there because there's tons of it. You're going to have a blast. And anybody who's joining now, I implore them to just go out there and see what's out there because there's so many bases that you can go to, so many things that you can do, and you're going to have fun. The first 10 years, like I said, I was married and divorced within those 7 years. And then after that, it was like, fuck, game on. I'm not going to say why it was game on, but it was game on. It was like, fucking, I'm going to get drunk and go down 4th Avenue and, do stupid shit and go TDY and have a blast and go drink in all these places, go hang out. But at the end of the day, it was about business. It was about where the fuck am I going? What am I going to do? Where's my next deployment? Hey, coach, pick me, put me in. And that's what I wanted. And I asked that, as you're watching this, as you're looking at this, and as if you're in the military or you were in the military, or you're deciding or you want to join, like think about what you were doing in your first 10 years, or if you're joining the military now, what you want to do in your first 10 years, because that's gonna shape who you are. Not everybody has the same experiences. Some people don't even leave, their first duty station for the first 6, 8, 10 years. And that sucks. But for those of you guys who have the opportunity, take full advantage, volunteer. Who knows where it's going to take you? It was crazy because my family back home would always say, hold on. My family back home would always say, why do you want to put yourself in those positions? Why do you want to go to those quote unquote dangerous locations? You could die. Well, fuck, I'm 42 years old and I'm still here. And as I sit here talking to you and giving you this podcast or whatever the fuck, vlog or whatever the fuck you want to consider it, I could walk across the street and fucking die. I can get hit by anything and fucking die. But we're here. You're here. You got to take chances. You got to take risks. There's so much more to life than just being scared. And I want you to understand that, look at yourself in the mirror and just think, what do you want to do? I hope that there's individuals that are patriotic and that want to do this type of stuff, because this means a lot to those of us that have served. if I can go back and do maybe 4, 5, 6 more years, I would still have another 2, 3 years to still be in the military. I wouldn't look as handsome as I do because I wouldn't have my beard. So, I mean, I can't fucking really say that shit. So, but I'd rather take this than doing 6 more years because I like my beard. Just saying. Audience kind of agrees. But I thank you. I still have 10 more years to discuss in another podcast, and I want you to know that after the next podcast that I talk about the last 10 years of my career, um, I want to at that point start with having guests, and my career hasn't really stopped after my 20 years. I'm still supporting. I'm still doing things associated with the military where I want to provide services. I want to do things, and like I said before, in the first one, I want to start a business or a couple of businesses where it gives opportunities and hope for military members that are down on their luck. So we'll see how this all goes. But thank you for watching again. Like, share, do whatever. Um, I'm here to have a good time, to enjoy. I'm gonna finish my barbecue. I know I don't get a chance to eat while I'm talking, but as I do have guests, I will eat and the guest can talk because I'm gonna throw a question out there and that motherfucker can talk, discuss, answer whatever he wants to do. And I'll be drinking a lot more. I'll be eating a lot more. Um, Kind of sad because I want to eat my lamb chop and I can't eat it right now. But anyway, um, have a good night. I appreciate it. Take a look, enjoy it. Leave comments. Tell me how you felt about September 11th because I was in Kuwait. I want to know where people were at, what they were doing. Shoot me a text, shoot me an email, shoot me, a comment, and um, let's talk about this. Anyway, have a good night. Be safe. I'm gonna finish my Yingling right now, and I'll see you next week. Talk to you later.